All right. It is 5 o'clock, and welcome everybody to the LUZ committee meeting. Today's April 15th, 5 p.m., and we will start with introductions to my left, please. Everybody standing up, please have a seat and conclude your conversations. Thank you.
Will Lane in District 3 visiting.
Thank you to the visiting councilman. Ken Amaro, City Council, District 1.
Rockmont Johnson, good afternoon, Council 14.
Joe Carlucci, District 5.
Good afternoon, Raul Arias, District 11.
Good evening, Reginald Gaffney Jr., District 8.
Good evening, Roy Diamond, District 13, the Beaches.
Good evening, Dylan Reigel with the Office of General Counsel.
I'm Helena Parola with the Planning Department.
Erin Abney with the Planning Department.
Casey Cox with the Planning Department.
All right, well, thank you for that. So we are going to start today's agenda by switching up things, going to item number 21, which will be on page 8, item 21, 2025-0178, and we have a visiting councilmember, Councilmember Leanan. All right. With that being said, please, council members, declare your ex partes, if any. Okay. Mr. Leanan.
Thanks, Chair. I'll declare my ex parte. I've had a number of conversations with Mr. Steve Diebenow, including on March 10th and 21st. I've also had a meeting with representatives from UNF as well as the developer at the site on March 26th, and this has been filed.
All right, nobody else on the queue, so with that, we're going to open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0178, which is seeking to rezone approximately 17 acres of land from industrial business park to a PUD. The rezoning to PUD is being sought to develop the property with a maximum of 250 multifamily dwelling units, catering to student housing at the University of North Florida. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comp plan with the existing land use category of business park, which allows a maximum gross density within the suburban area at 20 units per acre. The proposed development of 250 units is closer to a density of 14.7 units per acre. We find it furthers the goals and objectives of the comp plan and meets the internal and external compatibility factors. The subject site is located along First Coast Technology Parkway, which is classified as a local roadway, but does connect to Kernan Boulevard South, which is to the west, which is classified as an FDOT roadway. The subject properties are located within the boundaries of the UNF master plan and is in close proximity to similar residential uses. The parcel to the north, known as the Flats at UNF, was approved through a PUD in 2007 for student housing for the school. To the east of the subject site is Glen Kernan single-family subdivision, which was approved through a PUD in 1996. Between the proposed development and the existing single-family subdivision is a 50-foot wide landscape buffer, not within the proposed PUD, which will act as an additional protection from the proposed multifamily development and the existing single-family to the east. The proposed setbacks for this development are similar to those of the existing student housing to the north, so we find that this development to be appropriate and compatible with the existing developments. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we are forwarding a recommendation of approval with the 3 exhibits in the staff report and 1 condition that's listed in your agenda. The application was heard by Planning Commission on April 3rd. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and the Commission voted unanimously for approval with that same 1 condition in your agenda.
All right, thank you for that. And we have 1 speaker card, Mr. Steve Diebenow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Steve Diebenow, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200. Just very quick background on this one. Right now, University of North Florida's enrollment is around just a little bit above 16,000 students. Their stated goal is to reach 25,000 students by 2028. And as a result, having student housing is a priority. This particular piece of property has been slated for development since at least the 2010 master plan. University of North Florida has written us a letter indicating that this project is consistent with their master plan. And after conversations with the councilman as well as some of the neighbors, the setbacks here are 185 feet from the closest house. The existing multifamily development, the Flats to the north, is 125 feet from the closest house, so it's set back further. It also has the buildings pushed further back away from the 50-foot berm that Chief Abney mentioned. And as a result, there's a tremendous amount of landscaping, a tremendous amount of space, and all of the buildings are oriented in a way that activities and anything that goes on inside in terms of a pool or any activities are all facing the opposite direction of the neighbors at Glen Kernan. So we feel like we've been sensitive to everyone around. We've worked with the councilman, happy to answer any other questions, but this one, as you can tell, has been pretty smooth sailing so far.
Okay, thank you. And I have no speakers on the queue. With that being said, we are going to Will Lane and Mr. Lane, you're on the queue now.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe a little early. I think we need to close the public hearing first, and then I'll speak on the bill.
Yep. So with that being said, I am closing the public hearing, and can I get a motion?
All right, move the amendment.
All right. Amendment's been moved and seconded, and Mr. Dillon, please.
Yep. So the amendment is to adopt a condition, which is that a traffic study shall be provided at civil site plan review. The traffic study shall meet the requirements of the Land Development Procedures Manual, Section 1.1.11, January 2024. I will ask, if I may, to the applicant if he is agreeable to that condition.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. And with that being said, Mayor, can we have Mr. Lane now speak on the amendment? Is that on the amendment or the bill? The bill. All right, cool. So, bill has been motioned and seconded. Can we get all in favor say aye? Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Amendment carries. And
Bill is amended with condition.
bill has been moved with amended conditions. And Mr. Lehman. And we got a second from Gaffney.
All right, thank you, Chair. Through the committee, so Mr. Diebenow hit on a lot of things I was going to. I did have a lot of questions when this first came up, but ultimately got comfortable with it. My big thing from the beginning is if you look at the map, there already is student housing. It's called the Flats at UNF. My big thing was I want to be this to be consistent or better. It's actually going to be set back further. The height is slightly less just based on the roof design, same amount of floors, but with the roof design, it's going to be a little less height. There's a big berm. It's probably the biggest mountain in District 3, 50 feet. That's going to be untouched as well, so we're still going to have that setback. And another thing, if you look at the design of the buildings, there's actually no balconies that are going to be facing the Glen Kernan area. So all the balcony units will be on different sides, and all the common areas are going to be insulated on the other side towards the street. So after reviewing that with them, I did get comfortable with this. And so as a district councilman, I do support going forward with this. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Let's open the ballot and record our vote. And I have a speaker in the queue, Mr. Ken Romero. All right. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Councilman Will, just for orientation purposes, is this near the where the old AOL building used to be? Is it south of that? I'm just trying to visualize in my mind.
Through the chair to Councilmember Amaro, it's on the other side. I think what you're calling AOL is now the ADT building, more to the southwest, if I recall.
It's part of the school campus. It's the whatever hall it is. But
so you have Hicks Hall right there. So Hicks Hall is it's along First Coast Tech Parkway. This is just on the other side of First Coast Tech Parkway. I mean, starting if you know where the corner of of Beach and Kernan is, you got it's called the District there. That's mainly student housing. You keep on going south. You got the Glen Kernan entrance. Then the next road is First Coast Parkway. You turn left into there. You got the Flats on the left, and then this community will also be on the left once you pass the Flats.
All right. No other speakers on the queue. Let's open the ballot and record our vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
All right. And by your motion, we've approved 2025-0178. And now we're going to move on to item number 1 on page number 1, 2024-0535. And we are going to open the public hearing and continue the public hearing until 5/20/2025. No speaker cards, no? Yep. Item number 2, 2024-0539 will be deferred. Item number 3, 2024-0611, we are going to open the public hearing. No speaker cards, and it's being continued to 5/20/2025. Item number 4, 2025-0091. We are going to open the public hearing. No speaker cards, and it's being continued to 5/6/2025. Item number 5, 2025-0128. We are going to open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-128 is a small-scale land use amendment. The request is to go from the agriculture and low-density residential land use categories to the medium-density residential land use category. This is approximately 4.20 acres. It's on the north side of Pecan Park Road, which is a collector roadway between Pecan Park and Mason Lakes Drive. This is in the suburban area, and the request is to allow for multifamily development. The site is just east of the intersection with International Airport Boulevard, approximately 0.10 miles or 0.10 miles east, which is a minor arterial roadway. South of the site is land that is owned by Jacksonville Aviation Authority and part of the JIA campus. It's in the PBF, Public Buildings and Facilities land use category. This portion of JIA directly south is not developed, a not developed portion of their campus. Development on the north side of Pecan Park Road includes a mix of LDR and MDR residential developments. A quarter mile west of the site is a multifamily development in the MDR category that was amended to the MDR category in 2006. Surrounding properties have been amended with a transition to the low-density residential category from 2003 through 2021. East of the site, on the other side of I-95, over 1,000 acres was recently amended for a mix of light industrial, commercial, medium density, and low density residential land use categories, and that was done in 2025 recently. This amendment to the MDR category results in a compatible land use pattern and development with the residential uses along the north side of Pecan Park Road. It is the development of an underutilized property on a collector road with access to a nearby minor arterial. It adds to the total amount of residential use to accommodate future growth. It has access to water and sewage services, provides additional housing options, and maintains the residential development pattern of the area. Therefore, as outlined in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval. And on March 20th, 2025, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve. There were some speakers that were concerned on the height of the buildings and the privacy for the neighboring low-density residential properties nearby. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And I do have one speaker card, Melissa Zilia.
Ziller, here, Melissa.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Well,
name and address, please.
Yes, I'm just here representing the owner, Nilay Patel. He was unable to be here due to prior commitments for both of these. And just to say that they're only looking to do about 72 units, and it just adds to the housing when you think about the airport expanding on one side and all of this industrial coming on the other side. There's just more need for housing out there. There's not very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Before you leave, can you just have your name and address for the record, please?
Okay. Melissa Ziller, 12096, Jade Point Court, Jacksonville, 32218.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. And I have no speakers on the queue. Mr. Dillon.
And ma'am, since she had said that she was here on behalf of the applicant, if she could just work with staff to make sure we get some sort of agent authorization letter before Tuesday night city council meeting, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. No speakers on the queue. We are going to close the public hearing. I got a second to move the bill. No speakers. Let's open the ballot. Record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your motion, we have passed 2025-0128. Moving on to number 6, 2025-0129. Council members, please declare ex partes. And Mr. Gaffney.
Thank you, through the chair. I rise to declare ex parte. I met with the community and Mr. Patel last Wednesday at 9:30 at all times. I met with a few residents. We just talked about the site plan, the barriers, the conditions, the whole 9 yards. So I'll make sure everything get filed with legislative services.
All right, thank you. No other speakers on the queue. And let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion PUD rezoning, ordinance 2025-0129, which is seeking to rezone approximately 4.2 acres of land from agriculture and a PUD from 2003 to a new PUD. The PUD is being sought to allow for a development of a maximum of 72 multifamily dwellings. This would consist of 9 4-unit buildings and 12 3-unit buildings. The PUD differs from the conventional zoning code by providing a flexibility in site design and also limits the maximum height to 35 feet, keeping in character with the surrounding existing single-family residential uses. The current PUD from 2003 permitted the Bainbridge Park subdivision, which included a total of 213 acres and developed a maximum of 527 single-family lots. This subdivision was built at a density of approximately 2.47 units per acre. The subject parcels, so it's 2 of them, totaling 1.19 acres within that previous PUD, were designated as potential single-family parcels, but with the lot configurations during platting, these parcels were left out and remained vacant. Pulling these 2 parcels out of the current PUD will have no impact on the density allowed under that previous PUD. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comp plan, with the proposed land use category of MDR, which allows within the suburban development area a maximum of 20 units per acre. The proposed 72 units is closer to a range of 17 units per acre. We find it furthers the goals and objectives of the comp plan by accommodating growth in Jacksonville and encouraging and facilitating new infill development. The subject site is located along Pecan Park Road, which is an FDOT right-of-way and is currently operating at 40% capacity. Access to the site will be strictly from Pecan Park, and no access will be allowed through the Mason Lakes Drive or the Bainbridge subdivision. We find it meets the internal and external compatibility factors, as the height of structures will be limited to 35 feet. Setbacks will match those of the RMDD district, requiring a minimum of 20 feet from all property lines. The development will be required to provide a 10-foot uncomplimentary buffer along the property boundaries adjacent to existing single-family dwellings, which will include 1 tree for every 25 linear feet, grass or other ground coverings, and then a visual screen running the entire length of the common boundaries. This section of Pecan Park Drive is a mixture of housing types to include single-family subdivisions, the Seton Preserve Apartments approved through a PUD in 2021, and then further east is the Pecan Park RV Park. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we're forwarding a recommendation of approval with a revised Exhibit 4 listed in your agenda, and you also have a copy of that revised Exhibit 4. The application was heard by Planning Commission on March 20th, where there was 1 speaker this is the adjacent property owner at 1005 Pecan Park Road, who had some concerns about the proposed height of the structures and the ability to see into their property, and they requested some additional screening. After discussion with the commissioners, they felt that there needed to be that additional screening along the western boundaries to protect the existing single-family homes, and recommended an increase in fence height along those property boundaries. They voted unanimously for approval with the 1 condition listed in your agenda, which includes a height increase to the fencing along those property boundaries. The revised site plan also identifies the western boundaries, which would require that 8-foot tall vinyl fence per the condition. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do have 1 speaker card. Melissa Ziller, once more. Please name and address for the record one more time. Thank you.
Melissa Ziller, 12096 Jade Point Court, Jacksonville, 32218.
Okay, and I show here that you're in support.
I'm in support,
Right.
yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All right, and with that being said, I don't have any speakers on the queue, and we will close the public hearing. And can I get a second? And I have a second to move the amendment with the conditions. Mr. Dillon, Reingold.
Thank you very much. So the amendment attaches a revised Exhibit 4, which is the revised PUD site plan dated April 15th, 2025. And it adds a condition that the development shall provide a 8-foot vinyl fence along the western property boundary adjacent to all existing single-family dwellings as depicted in the revised Exhibit 4 site plan. And with that, I'll just ask the applicant if they are agreeable to that condition.
Yes, on behalf of Nilay Patel, the owner, he is agreeable to all conditions.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, and we're going to take a verbal vote now. All in favor of the amendment with the conditions, say aye. All opposed, say nay. And the amendment with condition passes. Bill has been moved and amended with the conditions. Let's record the votes. Open the ballots and record the vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
All right, with your actions, 2025-0129 passes. Moving on to number 7, 2025-0130. Let's open the public hearing. And staff report.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-130 is a small-scale land use amendment. The request is to go from low-density residential to medium-density residential. It is a 1.6-acre site. It's on the west side of Old Middleburg Road between No Road and Four Acre Road. Old Middleburg Road and Four Acre are both collector roadways. This is in the suburban area, and the request is to allow for townhomes on the site. The proposed companion rezoning to RMDA will further limit the density. The site is currently vacant. The west side of Old Middleburg Road includes single-family residential subdivisions and open space, vacant land in the LDR land use category. Across the street on the east side of Old Middleburg Road are single-family subdivisions in the medium-density land use category. Water and sewer is available to the site. It will require a sewer extension. The applicant is aware of the sewer extension and intends to provide that extension and connect to sewer. This is on a collector road, as previously mentioned. It results in a compatible land use pattern and development with the residential uses along Old Middleburg Road. It's the development of an underutilized property, and it provides development of a different housing typology. Therefore, as outlined in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval. On March 20th, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve with minimal discussion.
All right, thank you. And I do have 2 speaker cards, starting first with Patrick Honore.
Thank you so much for your service to the city.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
only here
Please,
to
your name and address, please. Name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Patrick Honore. I'm a civil engineer. My address is 12353 Harbor Ranch Drive, North Jacksonville, Florida 32225.
Thank you, sir. You may speak.
Okay, thank you so much for your service to the city. And I'm only here to in support of the project and to answer any questions people may have.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Next speaker, we have Roger Luxford. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Roger Luxford. I live at 4470 North Old Middleburg Road, the property right next door to the property in question. First of all, I don't believe that this project fits the neighborhood. Everything else is single family. The only thing that they have marked on their map as being RMDA is actually a pond that belongs to Gregory West Apartments, which is technically in another neighborhood off of Gregory West Drive. The other reason I have concerning about this is the water. When the storm water runs off naturally to the backside of this property, the backside of my property. This never has been affected in years and years. Then we had this other housing development come in. They put a pond, retention pond behind us. Now that pushes part of the stormwater right back in our yards. If they build this property up, and that's going to essentially make the property I live on a bathtub. This water is going to have no place to go. And I don't feel that we, living at that property as long as we have, should have to spend thousands of dollars to bring the grade of our property up to match what grade they're going to bring that property up in order to put multifamily housing on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I do not have any other speaker cards and no other council members on the queue. And with that being said, we're going to close the public hearing. And I do have council members on the queue now. Councilmember Johnson, please.
Thank you. This is not my district, Mr. Chair, but I did have a question. And I'm not sure if for the developer, I guess, did you meet with the district council member and the community on this project? It's just on the other side of my district, so it's right outside of it. Through the chair.
Talking to me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, developer. Yep.
No, I did not.
And please just state your name and address for the record.
Look, I did not meet him directly, but I tried to contact him. He said this is a quasi-judicial process, so he has to remain neutral. But I don't know if I can address his concern. Can I do that now?
I'll take him in agreement.
Was that a question from you to address his concern, Mr. Johnson?
It was. I mean, just since it's right outside of my district, I don't mind going to the agreement with him, but I would at least want the community to at least have some conversation with them before we moved on it. And then there was another quick question I had as well. Could we table this for a moment, Mr. Chair?
I don't mind tabling it at all.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So we're going to table it. We'll come back to it in a couple minutes, all right, sir? Tabling means we're still going to address it today. We're just going to hold off on it right now to make sure that he has some conversations in the meantime. So just have a seat, and we'll come back to this action item later on. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I do have Mr. Gaffney, but we'll come back once we address it again, okay? All right. So we are going to skip number 8. We're going to number 9, 2025-0166. We're going to open the public hearing and continue the public hearing to 5/6/2025. No speaker cards. All right. Thank you. Number 10, 2025-0167. Open public hearing, continue the public hearing, no speaker cards, and it's going to be continued to 5/6/2025. Number 11, 2025-0168, we are going to open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-168 is a small-scale land use amendment. The proposal is to go from low-density residential to medium-density residential. This is a 5.83-acre site. It's on the west side of Lane Avenue North, a collector roadway, and on a corner lot with the north side of General Lee Road. This is in the suburban area, and the request is to allow for townhomes on the site. The site is currently vacant. The LDR land use, and there is LDR land use in single-family homes to the north, east, and west across Lane Avenue North from the site. Light industrial and heavy industrial uses abut the amendment site on the south. Those uses, those land use categories include warehousing, storage, service garage, vehicle repair, and manufacturing. That is south of the site. This industrial area is part of the industrial situational compatibility area that abuts the land use amendment site. There is access to central water and sewer services. There are Category 3 and isolated wetland on the site that the applicant is aware of and will be mitigating if there is any impact to those wetlands. This is the development of an underutilized property for infill development. It provides a buffer from the light industrial to the south and the LDR to the north and is a logical transition of uses. It provides a new housing option and typology, results in a compatible land use pattern and development with residential uses, and provides development of a different housing typology while fronting on a collector road. As outlined in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval. And on April 3rd, 2025, the Planning Commission had minimal discussion and recommended unanimously to approve.
Okay, thank you. And I do have one speaker card, Mr. Curtis Hart. Name and address. Thank you.
8051 Terrell Lane. As was stated, this is a request to go from LDR to MDR. To the south of us is a glass company in industrial zoning. To the west of us is a large wetland. To the north of us is a 50-foot easement for an old right-of-way, and we're requesting to go to MDR to do 55 townhomes. Any questions? Be glad to answer them.
All right, and I see no speakers on the queue, no council members on the queue, and with that being said, we're going to close the public hearing. And, excuse me? There's no amendment. No. Second? All right, cool. So we got move the bill and second. No speakers on the queue. Open the ballot and record your vote. You're good. Trying to mess me up. Okay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, and by your actions, we have moved 2025-0168. Going on to number 12, 2025-0169. Council members, please declare any ex partes. And I do have an ex parte. I did receive a text from Mr. Curtis Hart last Wednesday on April 9th. It was just a text messaging asking me if I have any questions, and I haven't responded with no questions yet. So that's my ex parte. It's being filed as we speak with Legislative Services. No more council members on the queue. All right, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0169, which is rezoning approximately 5.8 acres of land from RLD 60 to a PUD. The PUD is being sought to allow for multifamily development of 55 townhomes. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan with the recently approved land use category of medium density residential, which within the suburban development area allows for a maximum of 20 units per acre. The proposed 55 units is closer to 9.4 acres per units per acre. We find it furthers the goals and objectives of the comp plan by accommodating growth in Jacksonville. The subject property is located along Lane Avenue North, which is classified as a collector roadway. This section of roadway between Old Kings Road and 5th Street West is currently operating at 46% capacity. We find it meets the internal and external compatibility factors. Lane Avenue transitions from industrial type uses to the south to residential uses to the north. The subject site is bordered by an undeveloped right-of-way along the north property boundary and vacant wetlands to the west, which creates a natural vegetative buffer from the existing residential to the north. We find the development to be appropriate for the area, and we forward a recommendation of approval with a revised Exhibit 4 that's listed in your agenda. Application was heard by Planning Commission on April 3rd. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and they voted unanimously for approval.
Thank you for that. I have one speaker card, Mr. Curtis Hart.
Curtis Hart, 8051. Again, a small infill multifamily townhome development. Any questions, be glad to answer them.
All right, no questions on the queue. With that being said, we're going to close the public hearing. We have an amendment moved in second. Mr. Reingold, please explain.
Absolutely. So the amendment does two things. First, it corrects the date of the written description in the bill to line up with the date in the written description, which is February 5th, 2025. And then it attaches a revised Exhibit 4, which is a revised PUD site plan dated March 27th, 2025. With that, I just simply ask the applicant if they are agreeable to those changes and turn it back over to the chair.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion? All right, well, we're going to take a vote now then. Open the ballot and record. Oh, sorry. Can we get a verbal all in favor say aye?
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All right.
Move the bill as amended.
Bill has been moved as amended and seconded. So open the ballot and record your vote.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. 2025-0169 passes. Going on to number 13, 2025-0170. Let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-170 is a small-scale land use amendment. The request is to go from low-density residential to medium-density residential. This is an 8.38-acre site. It's on Pritchard Road at the southwest corner of Pritchard Road and Jones Road. Pritchard Road is a minor arterial roadway. Jones Road is a collector roadway. Southeast of the site, across Jones Road, is land in the MDR category that was changed to MDR in 2008. South of the site is land in both the LDR and MDR categories. The LDR land use category includes single-family residences, and currently the MDR land is undeveloped, and it was recently approved to MDR in 2024. Just north of the site, across Pritchard Road, is the Cisco Gardens Park. North and west of the site is the Westlake Industrial Park that's in the multi-use category. This is over 4,900 acres, includes a mix of industrial, business park, and distribution uses. This site is located less than a half of a mile east and west of employment centers. It is directly west of the intersection with I-295 with an on-ramp from Pritchard Road. Has access to central water and sewer services. It's located on a corner lot with a minor arterial and a collector roadway. It is the development of an underutilized property, a logical extension of the MDR adjacent to the property on the east and south of the property, and provides a transition of uses. This results in a compatible land use pattern and development with the residential uses of the area. For those reasons, and as outlined in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval. And on April 3rd, 2025, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve.
Thank you, and I have one speaker card. Hayden Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Hayden Phillips, 1301 River Place Boulevard. I'll just go ahead and say that we're agreeable to the condition. It's 8.5 acres, the corner of a minor arterial and a collector at an intensive intersection on the west side of Jacksonville. It's an urbanizing area. There are townhomes and commercial uses existing and entitled, and we're proposing duplexes, 80 units, 40 buildings, about 9.5 units per acre. We have coordinated with the district councilman, and I am not aware of any public opposition, so I will stand by for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have no questions, no speakers on the queue. With that being said, we're going to close the public hearing. Got the bill moved in second. Let's open the ballot, record the vote.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, 2025-0170 passes. Going on to number 14, 2025-0171. Council members declaring ex partes. I see none on the queue. All right, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report, please.
Thank you. This is the companion PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0171, which is rezoning approximately 8.38 acres of land from RR acre to a PUD. The rezoning is being sought to allow for multifamily development of 80 units. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comp plan, with the land use category of medium density residential, which within the suburban development area allows for a maximum of 20 units per acre. The proposed 80 units is closer to a density range of 9.5 units per acre. We find it furthers the goals and objectives of the comp plan and meets the internal and external compatibility factors. The subject property is located at the corner of Pritchard Road, which is classified as a minor arterial roadway, and Jones Road, which is classified as a collector roadway. This section of Pritchard Road between Commonwealth and Jones Road is operating at 19% capacity, and then the section of Jones Road from Pritchard south to Beaver is operating at 23% capacity. The surrounding neighborhood has slowly been transitioning to medium density, starting with the West Lakes Estates townhomes, which were approved through a PUD in 2007, and then properties to the south, which were rezoned to RMDA in 2024, which also allows for multifamily townhomes. We find the proposed development to be appropriate for the surrounding area, and because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we're forwarding a recommendation of approval with one condition listed in your agenda. Application was heard by Planning Commission on April 3rd. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and the Commission voted unanimously for approval with that same one condition in your agenda.
Okay, thank you. And I do have one speaker card, Hayden Phillips.
Here for any questions you may have. Thank you.
I see no questions on the queue. Let's close the public hearing. I got a second. Mr. Reingold, please explain.
Thank you very much. The amendment is to add a condition to the PUD that a traffic study shall be provided at civil site plan review. The traffic study shall meet the requirements of the Land Development Procedures Manual, Section 1.1.11, January 2024. I believe for the previous item 170, Mr. Phillips has indicated his support of the condition. I assume that that's what this was, and so that I turn it back over to the chair.
All right, he's nodding his head, saying yes. So with that being said, all in favor of the amendment with the condition, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right, and it passed. All right, let's open the ballot and record the vote. Got it. I'm working on it.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, 2025-0171 passes. Going on to number 15, 2025-0172. Let's open the public hearing. And I have one speaker card. Warren Jones. Hello, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Warren Jones, 3105 Mill Court, Jacksonville, Florida. I'm here in opposition to this proposed land use and rezoning application. I'll speak once to both, and I understand that the applicant has requested deferral until May the 6th, so I'll probably be back then. I didn't realize that until I got here. One, I think we need to look at I have three specific concerns on this particular land use change and rezoning. One is the history of that neighborhood. Two, the guarantees of the development. And three, the access to the development. One, I think historically, when we look at older neighborhoods, we find that there was no planning department when the MDR was developed just to the north of this site. If you look at that map, there are no MDRs in that area except for that one, that entire block going north and east, and you find no MDRs. The one that you find that was built there back in 1960, of course, those of you historians of Jacksonville know that many of our elected officials back then were corrupt. A lot of rezonings were approved that should not have been approved. And I dare say that if this application was applied for now and that MDR was not there, the planning department would probably deny it. I think history plays a role in how we develop older communities more than anything else. Two, guarantees. There are no guarantees that we will have 52 units. We have a history of developers promising one thing and doing something else. We look at Eureka Gardens on the west side where the developer saying we're going to build senior citizen housing. And some years later, they made it Section 8 with no support for those residents. We look on the north side on Harts Road where the developer said we're going to build luxury apartments, and look at the mess we have there with all the crime that's emanating from that development. So we have no guarantees. You have the history, and then the other question is access. How do you access this development? It's not fair to the people who live on Sunnybrook Court to have to endure the traffic. At least the one that you have, they access that from Detroit Street, not from Sunnybrook Court. So those are my three concerns, and the reason I stand in opposition to it. One is the history of that site. Two is the lack of guarantees. And thirdly is the access to the property. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. And you're correct. We will continue the public hearing on May 6th, so we will see you again, Mr. Jones. All right, moving on to number 16, 2025-0173. We are going to open the public hearing. And I have another speaker card, Mr. Jones, but he's leaving. So we're going to continue the public hearing to 5/6/2025. And Mr. Jones opposes 2025-0173. All right. So once again, we're going to continue the public hearing for 2025-0173 to 5/6/2025. Going on to number 17, 2025-0174. Let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-174 is the transmittal round of a large-scale land use amendment. The request is to go from the agriculture land use to low-density residential and conservation, and this also includes a boundary change from the rural development area to the suburban development area. This is approximately 344 acres north of Pecan Park Road, a collector roadway, abutting the west side of I-95 and east of Thomas Creek and the Seton Creek Preserve, and south of the Timaquan Ecological Preserve. The site is currently vacant in the rural area and is surrounded on three sides, east, west, and south, by the suburban area. The proposal includes a change to incorporate the site into this suburban area. The northern portion of the site, approximately 31 acres, is proposed for the conservation land use. The proposed conservation land abuts the Timucuan Ecological Preserve on the north, and this portion of the site is also associated with the coastal high hazard zone and the Category 3 wetlands and flood zones, so those areas will be protected. The The surrounding area, all north of Pecan Park Road, it abuts to the south the Bainbridge Park residential subdivision, which contains approximately 527 single-family lots approved in 2003. The residential subdivisions are currently under development west of the subject site. These areas were approved for low-density residential land use in 2021. And to the east of the subject site, across I-95, over 1,000 acres of a mixed-use development with both residential and non-residential was just recently approved in 2025. And that site also had a rural to suburban boundary change. To the west is the Seton Creek Preserve. To the north is the Timucuan Ecological Historic Preserve. This south of Pecan Park includes land entitled for industrial and commercial uses and land that's part of the JIA campus. The extension of the suburban boundary would be congruent to the development typology of the surrounding area and would allow development to support the growth of jobs and housing in the surrounding area. This proposal accommodates anticipated growth and population projections, provides for a diverse housing stock. It's in proximity to the Pecan Park and I-95 interchange, has access to central water and sewer services, is a logical extension of the LDR land use in the area and is a compatible land use pattern, is a logical extension of the suburban boundary as well. The adoption round with the companion PUD that you'll see in several months after this has been transmitted to the state, that will give more information regarding the site planning of the site. However, included in the staff report is a preliminary development plan that was provided by the applicant. And you can see from that the areas where there are proposals for the residential use and the conservation use, and for areas that will not be developed because of additional wetlands on the site. On April 3rd, the Planning Department forwards a recommendation of approval as outlined in the staff report. And on April 3rd, 2025, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve the application. And at that meeting, the applicant spoke to give a better idea of the proposed site plan for the area.
All right, thank you for that. I do have one speaker card, Mr. T.R. Hainline. Name and address for the record, please.
T.R. Hainline, 1301 River Place Boulevard, here representing Pecans Envy LLC, and Ross Puzatello with Pecans Envy is here with me. Mr. Chair, did you say there are no other cards? All right.
No other card. Yeah, just
then I see though. Everyone smile now. Does everybody look good for that? Okay. I'll make it brief then, Mr. Chair. This is a transmittal of a comprehensive plan amendment. We will be back to you after it gets reviewed by the state agencies, and we'll be back to you with a planned unit development rezoning. Two things I want to point out about this comp plan amendment. One is that it takes a site which is very access challenged, and it finds alternative access for this site. We did not want to use Butchbane Drive for our access, nor did the planning department want us to use Butchbane Drive. So as you will see in the PUD rezoning when we bring it back to you, this proposes access from the west through other subdivisions out to Arnold Road. And so it does not use Butchbane Drive as its access. Secondly, when we were looking for alternative access, we came to the city and got a property exchange, a property swap agreement with Mr. Gaffney's help. Unfortunately, the state forestry division was not friendly to that, so we had to find another way to get access, and that we found it through purchases of property. But the Parks and Recreation Department, as part of that property swap, had wanted us to dedicate some property to the city, Parks and Rec, for additional land and additional access to Seton Creek Preserve, which is the city preserve to the west of us. And although the property exchange did not go through, Pecans Envy is still living up to its commitment to donate that property to Parks and Recreation. It's about 23 acres. It'll provide Parks and Recreation Department a way for new access to a really nice part of the park. So they're very happy with that. We'll be back to you with a PUD and tell you more about it then, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I don't see any speaker cards, or other council members on the queue, but I do have a question. When do you realistically think you'll come back for the PUD component of things?
I think it goes to the state for, 45 days, something like that. Ms. Pearl is nodding. So it'll get sent over there. We'll probably be back within 60 days or so, roughly.
Okay, and at that point, I'm assuming you and Councilmember Gaffney and the community will have more meetings with the community.
Absolutely, to talk about the PUD. But right. I will say, and Ms. Perola mentioned it, we did submit as part of our part of this comp plan amendment, a preliminary site plan for the development that would be proposed for this property. That's in there. The access is also shown in detail in what we've submitted already. But we'll take those plans and turn them into a PUD. But everything I've just said to you will be reflected in the PUD. And of course, we'll continue to work with Councilman Gaffney. He's been seeing this for a couple of years now when it came to the property swap and everything, so he's familiar with it. But we'll come back and make sure he's okay with the PUD.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. No speakers on the queue, and let's close the public hearing. Motion to move the bill in second. Let's open the ballot, record the vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, 2025-0174 passes, and we are going to, should we take up the action items that we tabled, or should we wait to the end for that? Okay, well, let's just finish up with the agenda as we go then. Number 18, 2025-0175. Let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. Proposed ordinance 2025-175 is the 2025-2029 capital improvements element schedule of projects. This update to the CIE schedule of projects is required by Florida statute annually. What you will see in these projects are a list of projects that help the city meet level of service standards. They include all projects that have previously either been before this body or are FDOT and JTA projects from the Transportation Improvement Plan. Every project in there has an ordinance source to it from the Capital Improvement Program, or they are projects from the Transportation Improvement Program that were approved in June of 2024 this year. Also included is the mobility system projects. So for those reasons, and as outlined in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval. And Planning Commission did recommend approval unanimously at their last meeting.
Okay, thank you. And I do not have any speaker cards, so let's close the public hearing.
For the amendment.
I got a motion to move the amendment in second. Mr. Reingold, please.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the amendment is to attach a revised Exhibit 1, which is the capital improvements element, to correct the schedules. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right. Bill has been moved and amended and seconded. Let's open the ballot, record the vote.
Five yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your motion, 2025-0175 passes. Let's move back to page number 4, action item number 7, 2025-0130. And Mr. Reingold or Mary, can you please put us in the correct posture to see where we left off?
Yeah, so what had happened was we had the public hearing. My recollection is that we had closed the public hearing. We started having some discussion, and then the matter was tabled. So there wasn't even an amendment there wasn't even any motions that had been made yet. So that tees us up to where we are. And so it might be helpful for Councilmember Johnson to sort of talk about what happened in the interim period.
Sure. Before we do that, should I then open the public hearing since we already closed it?
A good idea, because we may be hearing from people based upon the conversations that happened in the green room.
Okay, so let's start over. Let's open the public hearing. We already got the staff report, so up to, and speaker cards. I don't have any speaker cards, but we do have conversation with Mr. Johnson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to bring you up to speed, first of all, I want to say I'm thankful to Mr. Luxford and Mr. Honore for coming to have the conversation in the green room. And what we discussed, we were able to come to an agreement. However, there's going to be some changes. I am going to ex parte, obviously, for the quasi-judicial part of this. I will be submitting an ex parte as soon as I have a chance to get it done. But we were able to come up with a way for there to be both a natural buffer as well as an 8-foot fence that would be installed between the new development and the property that's there with the closest neighbor. And again, any runoff, there is a wetland behind the area, and the developer has agreed to put the runoff into that, then the retention pond that they're building, so it won't affect the property owner's property. However, because of the fact that this is a conventional rezoning, the property owner is going to, the developer is going to resubmit as a PUD. So I'm asking for it to open and continue until May 6th, so they have the opportunity to make those changes.
Okay, so being that that request is happening right now, do I have to take a verbal vote for that?
So basically, right now, you've got the public hearing, so you could just simply, as the chair, just say, we're going to continue the public hearing until May 6th and defer the item.
Before we do that then, can the applicant just please come up and state that they're in agreement with that? Mr. Patrick Onre, please state your name and address and just state whether you agree with this conversation, and we'll open and continue it.
My name is Patrick Honore. My address is 12353 Harbor Ranch Drive, North Jacksonville, Florida 32225. Yes, I'm in agreement with this proposal.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so we are going to now continue the public hearing until May 6, 2025. And moving on to number 8, 2025-0131. Council members, please declare any ex parte. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise to declare ex parte. I had a meeting in the green room for about 15 minutes on 20 minutes on April 15th at roughly about 5:30 p.m. with Roger Luxford and Patrick Honore from the AXOD group. The information is being filed with Legislative Services.
Right. Thank you. And we're going to continue the public hearing till. Yes, let's open the public hearing and. No speaker cards. We're going to continue the public hearing to 5/6/2025. And so let me read into the record. Mr. Patrick Honore and Roger Luxford were the speaker cards, but we're continuing it. Unless you guys want to speak right now. You guys good? All right. So we're continuing to 5/6/2025. All right, let's go back to the end of the agenda, and we're going to page number 8. Looking at item number 19, 2025-0176. Let's open the public hearing. And no speaker cards. We're going to continue the public hearing to 5/6/2025. Item number 20, 2025-0177. We're going to open the public hearing. And we do have 2 speaker cards. Tanya Luddy, please. Name and address.
Good evening. My name is Tanya Luddy. I reside at 12526 Camden Road, Jacksonville, Florida 32218. I just want to start out by saying that I'm not opposed to the development going on in between Gillespie and Camden Road, but I am opposed to the road that's going to be cutting through from Gillespie to Camden. As Kristen Reed stated whenever we were in the meeting on April the 8th, the applicant, I'm opposed to it cutting through because Camden Road that we live on is very, very narrow. I've been there for 23 years. It's very narrow. If cars try to come by, if you have an average pickup truck trying to come by, an average car has to get off to the shoulder because it's just so narrow. I worry about the drainage issues. We've already had some other developments going on the New Berlin side of Camden Road, and since just that development started and they started building up their areas there, we're starting to have a lot of stormwater. Our roads are just flooding. You get maybe an hour of rain and our roads just flood. So I worry about this development going on and more rain waters because we have zero drainage going down Camden. We have no lines marking our road. We don't even have, on the south side of Camden going off to Pulaski, there is a speed limit sign, but there's nothing right through there. And I'm just being honest, if they cut through from Gillespie to Camden, the cars are going to go onto Camden. There's no red light. So, I mean, I would do the same thing, but cars would go down Camden to avoid getting the red light. They would, so instead of going down Gillespie. So I worry about the traffic. We have a school right there on our road. I worry about the safety of the children. You see them walking up and down the sidewalk. And like I said in my previous statement, vehicles already have to veer off to the shoulder, to the sidewalk, to the grass. My road, my house sits off the road, but I've actually had people come and go around my mailbox because there was a garbage truck just sitting across picking up the garbage from my neighbor across from me, and they can't get down the road, so they've actually pulled into my grass to get around the garbage truck on my road. And that's my worry. If they put in, I don't know how many houses they're planning on putting in, but let's just say if they put 40 houses in, the average family has 2 vehicles. That's 80 more cars on a narrow road that has children trying to go to school and families trying to be outside with their families, and they can't. It's going to be just so narrow for the cars to be able to get by. And I'm just worried about the traffic, the safety of the children, the safety of the families that's been living there. And we're just an older neighborhood. Like I said, their streets are very, very narrow. And that's my main concern.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, next speaker, we have Carolyn Fulton, and she is here for questions only, and she supports the legislation. Is Carolyn here? No. Yeah. Oh, would you like to speak, ma'am?
Just here for
questions only, got it. All right. And I would like to welcome President White. Thank you for joining us at LUZ. Are you here for number 8 and 9, sir, or are you just here to visit? Okay, all right. Well, you came right on time, sir. All right. So, yeah, we are going to now continue the public hearing to 5/6/2025, and we are turning the page now to number 9. And the following bills will be deferred for public hearing on May 6, 2025. We have 2025-0208, 0209, 0210, 0211, 0212, 0213, 0214, 0215. And then page 11, the following bills are on second reading: 2025-0238, 0239, 0240, 0241, 0242, 0243, 0244, 0245, 0246, 0247, 0248, 0249, and 0255. And with that being said, everybody, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.